Are you struggling to get your content shared and attract new customers? Are you relying solely on paid media channels to drive the content you have on social media or to drive leads for your business? Well, if you are, you need to consider a shift in your mindset towards creating useful content, not just content that describes your business or your benefits and what you can do for your customers, but truly creating useful content that can help them achieve their goals. Well, today's video, what I would do is give you some ideas on different types of useful content that is not only going to help you increase the share volume that you're going to get from all your content, but it's also going to help you increase your revenue by going deeper with every single customer that you have. So let's go. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Smart Marketing. I am your host, Jason Verdelli, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you 12 ways to become more useful to your customers. And this is going to absolutely help you to attract more customers, but it's also going to help you to increase revenue from your existing customers. So the idea behind being more useful to your customers is to create content that aligns with their values. And when I say values, this is to them as human beings, not necessarily to creating content around what you sell, what your products are. And a lot of times as marketers, we get stuck into this trap where we feel like every bit of content has to relate to what we sell. Right? Part of building a brand and not just a company is to really be in tune with our primary target audience, the things that we've talked about in the previous videos here regarding branding. So the key thing here in creating useful content is to, again, identify what our target audience truly values. Right. So this might be, they might value family. They might value their time, they value time over everything else, right? Maybe they truly do value money more than anything else. Again, everybody's going to be a little bit different. Your primary target audience is going to be different. But the first part of that is just to identify what do they truly value. So the couple statistics here that I found were really interesting to help us to identify, what's valuable to the general market and also in what ways they want to consume content. HubSpot put out a great study here that said that 78% of consumers reported they were happy seeing videos on Facebook and wanted to see more videos on Facebook. So this is an obvious one that, they want to consume content, richer content, right? Versus just seeing a picture and then being forced to read a bunch of text. So, thinking about when you are creating useful content, think about putting it in a video format. The other interesting statistic that HubSpot put out that said that 64% of consumers report that watching a marketing video on Facebook helped influence their buying decision. So this really goes back to this really goes back to identifying values, number one, but it goes to show that if you do a marketing video right and it's in tune with answering maybe questions from your target audience, maybe these are people that went to your website, you put them into a retargeting audience on Facebook, and maybe that video was answering questions. Maybe they didn't convert. Again, every business is a little different here, but if that video really helps to be useful to them and maybe answers the frequently asked questions or maybe provides a customer testimonial, that's going to be useful to them at that point in time. If you're buying a car and you go to, BMW's website, or you go to Jeep's website, or Chevy or Ford or whatever, a lot of times you end up seeing a lot of the retargeting content, but it's tailored around the experience, seeing what ownership could look like. Right? Car companies do this extremely well. Another interesting statistic that I found here is that 97% of consumers and online marketers report that video helps their customers understand their product. So, getting feedback from just marketers in general. Obviously, video is a great way to get that message across. The other one here says that 72%, this is by Campaign Monitor, 72% of consumers reported they were more inclined to open an email that offers a discount. So this is interesting because in some businesses, discounts are useful, right? It's not selling the business or anything like that, but they are useful in some cases, right? Some people wait around until the discount exists. Right. This is, kind of the premise behind Amazon in a lot of cases. People want to make sure they're getting the best price. So, if there's a drop in price or anything like that, people want to know about that type of stuff. So again, what is valuable to your customers is going to be different. So I have 12 ideas here around useful content that you can create for your brand that I think is going to help you to think, not only think creatively, but more importantly, going to position you to get more shares, get more of your customers advocating for you. This is what you want, but you gotta create the content that enables them to do that. If you create content for your customers that positions them as the good guy to their friends and their colleagues, if it's, hey, this is something that you need to see because this is going to help your business, this is going to help your life in some way, shape, or form, then this is the kind of content you want to create. And keep in mind, your content does not have to always be about what you sell. A lot of times you end up finding that, you could be a law firm, for instance, and, if you're creating content, knowing your audience and knowing that, you might create content around local events going on in the area. You might create health tips or sharing, maybe getting somebody, a local health coach or somebody locally to provide your customers with helpful information that's going to improve their lives, right? Becomes useful. So a couple different ways here. Number one is interviews with influencers in your market. This kind of goes back to my example here with bringing in, say, a health coach to maybe do a podcast or a video for you that you can share out through email or through your social networks or on your website to your customers. But if you want to be specific to who you're trying to get to, think about if your customers are following a particular influencer in the market, right, then consider doing an interview with them, right? Zoom is big right now, or not just Zoom, that's a company that creates webinar software, but just being able to record a video session, right? Using something like Zoom meeting with that influencer and then taking that interview and then putting that out onto Facebook, putting that out onto LinkedIn or all of your social channels. Putting ad spend behind that. It's going to be absolutely huge because one key thing that interviewing influencers does is you're creating content that they're going to want to repurpose, right? Because that's how they build their audiences. They build their audiences by doing a lot of things like this, or doing videos online, doing a lot of interviews with people. You see this a lot if you go to YouTube and find somebody that you follow. You're going to see a lot of interviews and a lot of things that are sort of off the cuff, maybe off the cuff interviews. And what that does is that builds your brand. You're associating your brand, your business with that influencer, and you're building a channel. You're building a source of traffic because you're getting. They start retweeting. They put it onto their LinkedIn, their Facebook, everything like that. You're getting to their maybe couple 100,000 followers or millions of followers, or people are following them on Instagram. You're getting to their market. So consider, though, doing an interview, because the interview can be useful. At the same time, it can position you and your brand for to expand. Another one is and this is a really cool, I love this one, is to share a weekly bookmark or share weekly links with your customers or potential customers, right? So And this can be, you call them bookmarks, whatever you want to call them. But as you run across maybe software, maybe good articles that are out there that enrich their lives, your target audience, your target customer, whatever enriches their lives, take note of those links. These could be YouTube. YouTube videos are great with this, right? So you find maybe you take 10 minutes or a half hour and you find some really good YouTube videos out there that are going to help your customers. Then, just simply create a list of that and then send that out through email, push that out onto social networks and all the various different channels that you have, right? What that's going to do, now the best part of this is you don't have to create the content. You just need to find the content. You're curating the content. There's value in that curation. And if you find that content, then share that out, maybe again, a top 5 list or a top 10 list, you're just sharing links. But if that person then finds value in the video that you shared, right, then guess what? Now they're associating that value with you because you're the one who shared it. You're the friend. A lot of times when you hear of something, things like Netflix or, even in the software world, you probably, if you're using a particular type of software that you love, you've most likely heard of that because of a friend. Things like Facebook, for instance, they didn't do television ads or anything like that. You've heard of it because of the network effect, because of a friend or somebody else that was using it. So again, a weekly bookmarks or weekly links type of update. Another one is to create a top 10 list. For your customers. So this would be things, maybe again, top 10 health tips, top 10 things to do during this time. Maybe again, if it's the summertime, here's some top things that you can do. It could be a top 5 list, whatever. The quantity isn't as important as the fact that you're helping people make decisions with their day, with their week, with their month. Something like a top 10 list are great. These are also statistically known to be much more shareable when it comes to social media because, again, people love that kind of breakdown. Here's a top 10 list. They love bullet points. They don't have to read through a lot of different things. And this would be something, too, if you have tools, you can do this easily in something like canva.com. If you're not if you don't want to mess around with Photoshop, you can go in there and create a quick top 10 list graphic and then push that out on there. Another one is create how-to videos. Right, so in creating how-to videos to, again, what your customers value. So if you're an attorney and your how-to videos might not just be how to handle this situation or how to handle that situation, but it could be how-to videos on, how to cook better or how to cook a particular meal or how to become better fit or how to eat better, things like that are going to help them improve their lives, whatever it is, whatever mission that you have for your brand, it's really going to help exercise that. So again, you might intermix some of the content that's relevant to your business, but again, things like that are going to help bring value and be useful to your customers. So when they see that the next time, they're like, okay, this is useful. And by the way, and then they start associating that content, that how-to video with you, and they see you as useful. The other one here is to take something like a how-to video, take an interview, and create a podcast out of that. You could go to, there's a tool or a platform called anchor.com. Anchor.com, you can create it very easily for free, create a podcast channel and take your videos that you're recording, like videos like this, and I use Anchor as well. And actually, I think it's anchor.fm, I believe. I might be wrong with that, but just Google Anchor and it should probably come up. And but take your videos and then upload that as audio content, because now you can take that useful content and then a tool like Anchor can share that out onto iTunes, share it out onto Spotify and other platforms for you. You don't have to worry about the distribution of that. So again, you can repurpose that one bit of content, that one video you did in multiple ways, but turning that into a podcast is definitely going to help you with your reach. And then taking that podcast link and then sharing that out to your email list, your customers. And then when you do a new podcast, especially with something like Apple Podcasts, then, every time you do a new podcast, they're getting the push notification to their phone. So you're not relying on social media or email to get that content out there. Okay. The other, another one here is to invite your clients into a podcast or a video series that you're doing to have them explain their story in working with you and how they got the end result of what your primary target audience is trying to get to. So in the marketing world, this would be interviewing a customer, say, you wanted to make $2 million and tell us how you got there. Tell us how you grew your company. People love stories. People like following sequences of events, right? This is what, we watch movies, right? So we follow a sequence of event. There's a whole different, every movie has different sections to it, and we love a good story. So if you can get your customers on there and talking about that, again, talking into a podcast, keeping it informal, right? Now you're creating content that your potential customer can relate to. Beautiful thing is something like this, it's not coming across like a case study or a testimonial. It's coming across as just people having a conversation. But what it allows them to do is it allows them to put themselves into your customer's shoes. So again, another great idea there. This is one of my personal favorites, is to consider taking your best blog post. Maybe if you have a blog with a certain category, like on my site here, jasonverdelli.com, I have a branding section. Right now, my current categories are branding. I have digital marketing, and I have technology. So this might be taking some of your best posts and combining them into a PDF. Right, so if I take good example, I take all of my branding posts that I have and videos, and I put that into an ebook that says, here are all the different brand, label it with, the things you need to, or here are the 10 steps or 13 steps you need to follow to build a brand, right? So through time, you might already have some of this content, but if you can take that, put it into a PDF, so you're curating it, and now you have a downloadable content that you can do things like run Facebook lead ads and get people to download that piece of content if you're trying to attract new leads, right? You can send that out to your email list. You can do things that are going to help you build your community and build your brand by just combining the content you already have. A great idea there. Another one here is to create a survey that gives people a score of some sort. This is also useful. You see this a lot in with credit companies, or you see this a lot in the housing. People that are searching for houses. If you go to certain apps like Trulia or Realtor.com and some of those, they'll always have the mortgage calculators or saying, hey, what would can you afford this, right? And then you plug your numbers in there, and then it pumps out, telling you exactly what the payment would be, and if you can afford it, right? So things like that are extremely useful. Calculators have always been useful. To some, again, depending on if the calculator is something your client actually cares about. And if you're an accountant and you pushing out certain calculators, your client might not care about that because they're paying you to do the taxes. They're not paying you to. You're not actually coming up with the calculation itself. So think about that though. Can you create a form on your website that that is designed in a way that creates a calculation? If they select these particular they fill out these particular answers to certain questions, they get a score of A, B, C, and D, or however you want to set that up. But it's a great way to generate leads, but it's also a great way to get a pulse of what your customers are needing and wanting. Another one here is to create an infographic. Again, Canva.com is a great tool for this. Again, if you're not a Photoshop person, I'm definitely not, so you can go to Canva.com, create an infographic that takes statistics of something that is valuable to your customer, right? So if you're in the legal field or the health field, you might pull in statistics to throw into that infographic. It might be something that you might put in, here are the better ways to stay healthy, but you're a law firm, so it has nothing to do with your law firm particularly, but your infographic, you're associating, what's nice about an infographic, it allows you to associate your brand, because you got your logo on there and your colors, with that bit of content. And if you tie your branding messaging, like you're trying to help people and live more enriching lives, then that content in the infographic is going to support that. Another great idea here too is to simply steal ideas from trending topics on social media. BuzzSumo.com. Check it out. BuzzSumo.com is a great tool that allows you to do this. BuzzSumo actually will show, if you put in a topic, it will basically show you the trending posts on various social networks so you can see what people are sharing, what people are liking. And, you can get some ideas from that. So if you're trying to get a pulse of what people are actually wanting and what type of content's actually being pushed out and being shared, then use a tool like BuzzSumo to give you some guidance. And then I have another one here is to answer questions. Go to Quora.com, so Quora.com. Use the search tool, find a topic. So if you're in, say, say you're in the automobile industry, or maybe you're in the legal industry, maybe people are posing questions on there all the time. And if you can go in there and help them answer that to your whatever extent you can, in certain industries you might be limited to maybe how you can answer and all that type of stuff. But it's a great tool to help position you as the expert. And Quora is great because when people type in a certain question into Google or Bing or any of those search engines, it will a lot of times you end up seeing a Quora question, which is identical to the question that people are actually typing into Google. And people, when they click onto that Quora page where that question was asked, then if they see that you're the one that answered it, and if you have a good Quora profile, and you put a link to your website and everything like that, now you're generating traffic, and that's organic. You're not paying for that. And you're positioned as an expert because of your answer. So another great idea. The last thing I'll leave you with is to take one last piece of content here, is to take the content that you have, your videos, your blog posts, and your podcasts, and create a resources page on your website. This is one of my top ones here. I love this. Is to just simply create that one page that categorizes all the different resources that you have. So I mentioned a bunch of stuff today. Hopefully I've given you some great tips and some ideas. But, which ones you choose, consider adding a resources page to your website. Literally just call it resources, and then create sections on that page that are covering different topics. So maybe this is to improve their life in a certain way, or to improve you might have different topics around, here are some posts or some videos to improve your financial situation, or to improve your business, increase sales. Whatever business you're in, you have different aspects, or different, your content is providing value, or different types of value. So if you can create sections on that resource page, which combines all of these things, combines your podcast, combines your YouTube videos, or at least links to those YouTube videos, then that's a resource in itself. So it's combining the actual resources. And then on that page, put in an email subscribe, or collect some information from them, saying, hey, if you are looking to get great information, more information like this, as we post stuff out there, then subscribe. And a lot of times when people see all the great information in one spot, they're most likely going to subscribe if they find value in that. So they don't want to miss out. They don't want to have to keep going back to that page. They want to get it in real time. So again, great opportunity for you to enhance your website, and also it help you with search engines as well, because search engines love those resources pages that help that searcher find what they're looking for. So hopefully this video is giving you some good ideas. You might not need to act on them all. What I would recommend is start with one. Start with interviews of people that are interviews of your influencers, right? Interview people that have an audience of potential customers that you want to get. Start with that. Get the process down. And then once you get some momentum with that, then you can move on to different things. What you don't want to do is feel like, Jason, I have 12 different things that you've given me today. I want to do them all at once. Well, you know what? Unless you have enough time, enough money, and everything else, it's going to be very difficult to do that. So start with one, get good at it. Put a marketing strategy behind driving it. So when you get the interview, figure out a strategy. Maybe it is a paid media strategy to help boost some of those the bits of content that are useful. Again, you're going to find that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get the views that you want, because you're going to be rewarded with social networks and other platforms because it's useful content. You're providing a value to the platform itself because your content is better. You're keeping people on the platform. So again, start with one. Put a marketing strategy behind the one, and measure your results. And you can tweak from there to figure out what works for you and what you might want to add or remove. So with that said, again, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully this has been helpful. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends and everyone else that you might find you feel that would find value in this video. And we will take it from there.